Hello everyone, my name is Roya, and today I'm coming to you with the books that I read in the first half of whatever month this is, August. So I read 6 books and I'm just gonna go ahead and get into them. Probably my favorite read was Servant of Earth. This is about a girl who lives in some random fantasy world where she is just kind of in this backwater town or whatever, and her best friend gets chosen to go and join the Fae world, which the humans have not had any contact with the Fae in quite a long time, and she doesn't really buy, you know, our main character does not really buy that the Fae are really taking these humans and actually giving them a good life at all. She just she suspects that they're just going into the bog and dying, you know. So she decides to guide them through the bog to the Fae to make sure that they actually get there, since her best friend is one of them, and in doing so she ends up being the only one who makes it. The rest of them all get attacked by bog creatures. She actually makes it to the Fae, and they don't know what to do with her, so they just kind of make her a servant, and she ends up having to help this Fae girl undergo these trials to become a full Fae, essentially. So this was a really, really good book. I really enjoyed it. The only thing is I don't know how to feel about the fact that I called absolutely every twist with stunning specificity this entire time. I knew every single thing that was going to happen, and none of it was anything bad that I like didn't want to happen. It was all good. I was like, oh yay, good that happened, but it was still just so weird how predictable this was, and I don't know how much of it is just me having read so many gosh darn books that are somewhat similar that everything is predictable to me at this point, but it was just crazy to me how every single thing that happened, no matter how random it was, I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it was just crazy. So I don't know how to feel about that part, but it definitely was a really enjoyable read. I could not put it down. There were no lulls in the action at all. There were no parts where I was bored reading this at all. The 1619 Project, this is a historical kind of information book, a historical nonfiction book that has a lot of different information about racism and systemic racism, and how we are still kind of living in a world that is still heavily impacted by the large-scale trade of kidnapped people from Africa, and just everything that still goes on. And I think this was a really good book to kind of, since I've read a lot of books that deal with that over the last couple of years, it was a good follow-up to those, as well as having a lot more information than that as well. Like this is about a 500-page book, and then it also has a 100-page bibliography. That's how much information there was in this, and there's just a lot that goes into this book, and it is definitely a must-read. The Forgotten Kingdom, this is the second book in the Lost Queen series, I guess it's called. It is about the actual history that inspired the legends of King Arthur and Merlin and so on and so forth. And so it's like an Arthurian retelling, but it's straight up historical fiction, no fantasy at all. And so this is a really good series. I really liked the first one, but I read it ages ago, like 2017 maybe, and I remembered no detail. I didn't remember anybody's names at all, nothing, and this second one was still a really, really good read in its own right, and I really, really enjoyed it. Through Gates of Garnet and Gold by Sean McGuire. This comes out in September. This is the 8th, 9th, 10th, I don't even know anymore. The next book in the Wayward Children series. This is basically a series about a bunch of different kids who once went to other worlds, came back, didn't know how to deal with the fact that they're not in the other world anymore, and there's a special boarding school that they go to deal with that, run by a woman who was one of those kids herself once. So basically, This one in particular was not my favorite. So we follow some of the kids as they go to one of the worlds that one of them went through, and there's a problem there. The Energy Bus, this was my book club's, my works book club pick of the month, and this was okay, but I think that it was such a short book and it mostly had to do with positive energy in and the focus being on just be more positive, that I found that it wasn't necessarily as helpful as some of the other books that are similar that we've read as part of this book club at work. But I thought that it did have some really good reminders in there, like don't worry about the negative people, just don't waste your time thinking about them. I felt like the overall message was just kind of be more positive, and sometimes that's not the most helpful thing in the world. A Resistance of Witches, this was my favorite read of the month, for real. I actually think I did give this a kind of weak 5 stars. So this is about some witches who are trying to get a spell book before the Nazis get it, and it is so good. It was just absolutely insane. It never stops, like the conflict. There's so much hiding and running and escaping and all that stuff just non-stop, and it was really, really good, and I really enjoyed this book. I read it in about 24 hours. And finally, we have The Shadow War. This is also coincidentally a somewhat paranormal World War II setting. This one was kind of trying to do what A Resistance of Witches successfully did, in that it was something similar with a lot of, you know, similar pacing as far as running, escaping, hiding, blah, 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 pretending to be other people so that people don't catch you, blah, blah, blah. The same kinds of plot points were in it, but I did feel like there was less character depth in this and just less of a good explanation of, you know, what was going on, all that stuff. But it did have queer characters, which was great. So anyway, those are the books that I read in the first half of August. Let me know if you've read any of these and have any thoughts on them, etc., etc., and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!